Hello everybody, bad weather freak. I got another video for you guys. I know it has been a while since I haven't recorded a video, but as we are nearing to the tropics, I wanted to come out here and make a new video for you guys, keep you guys updated, of course. Basically, as you guys know, June 1st is the beginning of the hurricane season, and 2026 is posing to be a major hurricane for the Pacific. There are talks of potentially being the toughest season ever as far as activity for the Pacific. The reason for that is the fact that we are in the process of what we, I've mentioned it in many videos before: La Nina, El Nino. Just for if it is your first time watching videos, weather videos, during El Nino, what ends up happening is the Pacific atmosphere is more conducive for development. Basically, sea surface temperatures are higher, lower wind shear, and the opposite happens in the Atlantic. So historically, when El Nino is present in the Atlantic, the activity overall, I guess, severely suppressed, not completely shut down. Perfect example is 1992. It was an El Nino season, and we still had Hurricane Andrew, obviously with devastating effects in South Florida. So, but when you look at the numbers, the overall numbers, I believe in 1992 developed, I believe it was a total of 8 storms, which is extremely low activity. But it produced a major hurricane. So that's one of the things that I've noticed as well with other El Nino seasons, where the overall activity is significantly reduced in the Atlantic, but in the Pacific it's extremely busy. Now, 1877 was a very busy. As a matter of fact, the busiest El Nino, and they actually called it Super El Nino actually. Now, as far as comparison, 2026 is posing to be very similar in activity. What you guys are seeing right now, let me kind of zoom in. Well, maybe there we go. So as you guys know here, let me kind of do a little bit of drawing. This is basically, let me actually do a little bit of zooming in here. So this is the Atlantic, okay? And you guys see that the main development region is actually on the bluish color. What that means is that the sea surface temperatures are under the average for this time of the year. But then, if you guys look up here closer to home, you guys can see that it is a lot warmer. I mean, we're talking about not record breaking, but close. As far as sea surface temperatures. And around the Florida Keys, it is typical, it is expected for that to happen, because the water depth is not a lot. It's very shallow water, and it doesn't take a whole lot to really warm up. But when I zoom out and focus on the Pacific, yes, we do have this big pool of cooler water, but then where the majority here of the activity happens in the Pacific, and even higher up here, you guys can see that it is extremely, or not extremely, but it is much warmer than what it's supposed to be. Okay, so let's take a look at another graph that it shows that CDAS Nino 3.4 index. That's actually what you guys are looking at here, this section or this area. And La Nina is on the negative. Then you have 0, which is neutral, and you guys can see where it's very, where it's heading, which is in very much El Nino territory as we speak. Now, it is May 11th, so in 4 days, the Pacific activity is gonna actually start, or not start ramping up. I mean, we don't know that, of course, but it is technically speaking going to start the season of 2026. And that's basically what we are looking at for activity to start ramping up soon. But let me go ahead and go over some of the numbers as well. of what the Colorado State University is predicting as far as numbers. So let me kind of go back. Let's click here for the 2026. And again, the Colorado State University is not the only university or organization that actually produces this forecast, but it's one of the main ones that everybody, whenever they're gonna release their numbers or their projections, they actually look at their projections, and then they kind of base off their projections somewhat similar to theirs. So in other words, they kind of piggyback because they are somewhat, I mean, I don't want to say the experts, but they are experts, obviously, but they are one of the top dogs as far as hurricane season projections. But for 2026, and one thing to keep in mind, guys, this is going to change, okay? This was released in April. Sometime, right, I believe sometime in May, they will probably revise it again. I believe they do revise it again towards summer and then during the peak of the season. So these numbers are going to continue to change, but I'm not expecting them to change much. But as of right now, 13 named storms, 6 hurricanes, 2 major hurricanes. I mean, this is basically what they are calling for, the average, just so you guys have an idea. It is actually from 1991 to 2020, the average is 14.4 storms, 7.2 hurricanes, and 3.2 major hurricanes. So what that tells us is they're expecting a below average season, and that's expected with the potential of a super El Nino developing in the Pacific. So, and again, just for the ones that don't know, it's super El Nino, basically what it means, much warmer sea surface temperatures than usual, than basically a typical El Nino. That's why they call it a super El Nino. Is it gonna happen? We'll find out. Everything is pointing that we're heading that way, but it's not guaranteed, of course. And that does not mean that we are going to completely shut down the Atlantic. It means that overall we should see, and that's a key word, we should see a lower numbers of storms developing. But nevertheless, we can have quick spin-ups. We can have storms kind of form quickly, or potentially close to home. I mean, that's pretty much what I'm thinking. Potentially something in the Western Caribbean, maybe the Gulf, as the Western Caribbean and the Gulf are always fairly warm. But I could be wrong, but I'm not expecting long track storms coming from Africa and quickly developing, kind of like 2017, what we saw. But I could be wrong, of course. Things change, the weather changes pretty much on a daily basis. But that's my expectation. So I wanted to make this video for you guys. Thank you for your support. Thank you for subscribing. Don't forget to like this video, share this video with families and friends as we near to the beginning of the hurricane season 2026 as of June 1st. That's the beginning. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good day.